Happy 2023 Easter, everybody. I'm Carrie. This is Student Loan Chit-Chat. All right, so I'm going to, first off, really quickly before we begin, the student loan forgiveness. I'm going to tell you, folks, I don't think it's going to happen. It is still sitting, as you know, with the Supreme Court on the $10,000, $20,000 loan forgiveness. $20,000, I believe, being for Pell Grants, $10,000 for the rank and file. I say, I was talking to a girlfriend of mine in Phoenix, I'm going to say it's 80-20. 80% it's not going to be approved, 20% it will. We'll keep our fingers crossed, pray for the best, plan and budget, however, for the worst, okay? And as soon as I know, I promise on that same day, I may even preload a video, so when, you know, there's a Supreme Court decision, I can just hit upload. The decision may not come until June, so we're waiting on that, all right? But like I said, no, pray for the best, but plan for the worst. I wouldn't always assume that, you know, it's not going to be forgiven, and budget accordingly. And if anything better happens than that, then that's absolutely awesome. All right, with that said, I want to talk to you about electric budget billing, and I want to save you the catastrophe I almost, not quite, but I almost wound up in. But fortunately, I do live way below my means, and so I was able to crawl my way out of it really quickly. But I want to make sure that my audience is aware of this, okay? Budget bill, electric budget bill. Here in Tampa, we have our electric company is called TECO, Tampa Electric Company. Anyways, here's what basically happened, and hopefully it will save maybe one of you from a potential headache, okay? Budget bill, for those who may not know, a lot of electric companies allow you something called budget billing. And budget billing is simply where they average out basically how much your electric bill is each month, and then they bill you the same dollar amount every single month. So from January through December for a calendar year, in my case, my basic budget bill was, I think it was like $91 a month, which made sense. I tend to do a lot of laundry, okay? But basically that was my amount each month. And the idea of budget bill, from what I understood it to be, is that, you know, you pay the same amount every single month, and then this way it keeps you from having your electric rates go up and down, up and down. And the idea is that, you know, during the summer, you're going to pay a little bit more. Okay, maybe, you know, I only run an $80 a month electric bill in the summer, but it runs up to maybe $90, $95 in the winter. But the goal is that it's supposed to, in a perfect world, it's supposed to even out, so basically you don't owe anything, or if you owe, you're going to owe very little, okay? So it's also the idea that you can set up your budget on an automatic payment, and you don't have to worry about the fluctuating rates, okay? So you have a checking account you want to come out of, and you don't want to be, you know, one month it's $95, and then during the summer it drops down to $75. You just want nice, even steady amount. This is the idea behind budget bill. And when I got my condo, I was like, hey, you know what? This is a wonderful idea. I love it. I had never had an electric bill, okay, above $100. Not even close, really. I'd say most of that time, you know, my budget ran around maybe 75 to 95. I do a lot of laundry. You know, I do laundry every day. You know, I like clean bed sheets every other day. I exercise a lot, so I'm constantly doing laundry. So, you know, my electric bill might be a little higher than some people, okay, that live alone. So in my case, I went ahead and you know, I set it up, and they said it's something like $91, $92 a month. And I was like, this is beautiful. I love it. I'm going to tell you the two mistakes that I made that were totally my fault, that almost gave me a disastrous bill, okay? The first thing I did was I assumed that if my bill were short, okay, let's say at the end of a calendar year, because I had been on it, I think, for about a year and a half. So let's say at the end of a calendar year, I'm thinking, okay, maybe I was short. I estimated my bill's never been above $100. So even if it were short, what could it possibly be short? $10 or so? So I might owe 100, 120. That's the absolute worst, 150, okay? That's the first thing I did, was I assumed that, you know, it would all be calculated by the electric company, and any debt that I owed would go into the next year, but it would be factored into that year's budget bill. I hope this is making sense. In other words, my assumption is that the electric company is not going to carry debt that you owe them from one calendar year to the next. That was my first wrong thing. Don't ever assume, right? The second wrong thing that I did, I never looked at the bill. I mean, like ever, because again, I was set for around $92 a month. My bill had never gone over 95. Like I have not seen a $100 bill at all. Okay, so to me, that $91, $92 was just like perfect. I was very comfortable with it. You know, I set it up for budget bill, did all that. Then this last month, I decided, you know, with my $110,000 student loan paid off, with my mortgage paid off, I really don't need the electric budget bill anymore. I'm like, I know I'm all good, okay? So I called to have it canceled, okay? And this is just like, you know, maybe 3 weeks ago. So I went ahead, called to have it canceled, and I'm like, hey, you know, I'm all good. Don't need the budget bill anymore. And turns out I owed them $256 and some change. And I was like, $256? What do I owe you $256 for? I've never had a bill that exceeded $100, and even if I did the math and owed you an extra $10 a month, I've had you for about a year or so, that wouldn't equal $256. Well, here is why I will never use budget bill again. Yeah, I admit it was my fault. I'd never looked at the bill. But the second thing is this, is I was absolutely wrong, okay? If you wind up owing the electric company, they do not factor that debt into the next year. They just simply write it as an IOU, meaning you owe them. And then when you call to cancel it, you call, you know, to cancel it, or because you're changing, you're moving, you know, maybe from one part of town to the other part of town, whatever. You have a change in service. You will need to pay that entire past due bill up front before they will change your service or deal with collections and all that wonderful stuff. I had no idea that budget bill worked like that. And I'm willing to bet a lot of people don't, because when I actually found out about it, I went online and started looking up. And you start seeing stories of people who have been on budget bill, some of them for years, owing nearly $1,000 that they had no idea about. And the sad part is, this is the bill that I could just easily pay each month. I just thought the idea of budgeting it was great. Here's the thing. I don't see the purpose of going on electric budget bill if I can't just set it and forget it. If I can't confidently know that at the end of a calendar year, they're either going to give me, you know, one grandiose bill for, you know, you owe us $175, whatever, okay, and I could live with that. It's like, okay, that's cool, whatever, okay. But the bottom line is, if all they're going to do is roll it from one year to the next, and that is what, at least here in Tico, okay, they'll just simply roll it. There is no, we're going to refactor that debt into the next year and maybe raise you a little bit. Nah, it literally becomes almost a hidden bill that you are unaware of. Now, again, my fault. I did not ever look at the bill. I mean, I just never did, because I was very comfortable with $90, $92 a month. Like, that's fine. That's totally in line. So to me, if I'm going to have to just check the bill anyways, if I need to pay the full difference anyways, then the purpose of budget bill really isn't useful. Now then, what do you do if you find that you actually owe in your electric company? And I'm telling all my viewers, all right, if you have been on the electric budget bill, you need to call them. Hey, at least it's not your student loan company you're calling, okay? But you need to find out, do I have a past due balance with you? Because if you have a past due balance with them, you're going to need to pay it, okay? But let's say you do have a past due balance with them. You're not planning on moving, but let's just throw out a number, okay? Let's say in my case, like I owed them $255. And let's say I didn't have the $250 to $5 to owe them. Well, pray that I'm not actually moving and need to come up with it right away. That's one option. Pray you carry an emergency savings account. But let's say you're not moving, you don't have an emergency savings account, or you do have an account and you don't want to use it. In other words, you're staying right where you're at. You're on budget bill. Here's my suggestion. Pay the full amount due every month. So let's say my electric bill is actually $105 every month, which is what it appears like it probably is at this point, okay, maybe even 110. So pay your full electric bill every month, and then make sure you overpay so that you dip into the IOU, or should I say the you owe the electric company portion. And then over time, that overpayment will be credited towards the amount that you actually owe that's past due. Here's the bottom line, folks. Some things in financial budgeting, especially as people are getting ready to start gearing up to pay back student loans, okay? Because even with the 10 and 20,000 for, millions of Americans, that's not going to clear the debt. There is still a student loan balance, okay? If you're thinking of budget bill and you're thinking that would be a really useful tool to help you with your budgeting, don't do it. Don't do it. If all you have to do still is check the bill to make sure that you're paying it in full, then what is the use of budget bill? I would do budget bill if I could designate how much was going to come out. Like if I wanted to say, okay, let me put down a ridiculous amount. I'm going to pay $125 each month towards my electric bill, because I know that that's not only the full bill but surplus. But the electric companies won't allow you, at least that I am aware of here in Tampa, okay, under TICO. You can't set that. They set it. To me, that's kind of silly, because, if you're sitting at 91, okay, you're setting the bill at 91, and I want to set it to, say, 125, it's like, what's the big deal? But you can't do that. The hidden things of budget bill, I strongly would not do it. It's not going to save you time. It's certainly not going to save you money. And a bill that would have been very manageable on a month-to-month basis can be accruing, and you may not find out until even a couple years later. I think I read one story that some guy owed his electric company like $1,000 off a budget bill. He had been on it for a few years, okay? So, anyways, the dangers and the pitfalls of budget billing, and why I personally will never use it again. So I wanted to share that and pass that on so that you don't fall in the same situation. All right. Happy Easter. I'm Carrie. This is Student Loan Chit-Chat. Thank you so much for joining me. I do hope you will consider subscribing, and have a beautiful night. Bye.